afternoon, and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to another edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast, as we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. It's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Now to talk all things basketball with the NBA playoffs continuing is my great friend, Coach Billy Mims. We were texting last night, and whatever the hell that third quarter was last night in Detroit, not good. It was not. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm still a little bit shell-shocked from that third quarter last night. My wife was sitting on the couch watching the game with me, and she says, and it's like it's a ball game, right? They're only down a few points at the half. And my wife goes, "Oh, this one's over." And it's like halftime, right? And I said, "Are you kidding? They won game one. They're hanging around in game two." I said, "This isn't over." And then she gets up into the kitchen and starts fixing her something to eat. And, of course, the Pistons come out of the locker room. The Magic, I'm not sure that was the Magic on the floor. Somebody was out there, but it might not have been the Magic. And all of a sudden, it was like 10-3. 13-3, 16-3, 19-3, 22-3. And I turned to her and I said, "What do you have, a crystal ball or something?" You're right. It was over at halftime.
She's Miss Cleo. That's what she is. You're right. She got the crystal ball. Yeah, when you were texting me, you're like, I could tell through text message and knowing you for over a decade, you have been in so many basketball games, wins or losses, where an avalanche breaks out. You knew by halfway through the third quarter, you're like, well, let's get to game three.
I'm thinking about you, right? And I'm sitting there going, you and my son, Josh, okay? Both of you are saying to me right now, call timeout, stop the flood. And, I thought Mosley was a little hesitant to call timeout, and then when he finally got around to it, might have been a little too late. And then even after coming out of the timeout, the deluge continued, right? The floodgates were open. It didn't get any better. And I'm like, call timeout again. Use every timeout you have. You made a great point, right? You made a great point to me. We're texting back and forth. And you're like, can they cut it to 10? That's what you said at one point, right? And my answer to you right away was no.
And this is why I value your answers, because you have over 600 wins as a coach, but you also have, I'm sorry to say this, you have some losses on your career as well. Look, let's be honest here. You've coached teams where your team got your ass kicked. Okay. You got embarrassed.
Oh.
You call as many timeouts as you want. The floodgates are open. And dude, it's like for the first time, okay, through 6 quarters of basketball, Detroit had no idea what the hell they were doing. No idea. They were shell-shocked. Remember, there was the stat from last night. That organization had not won a home playoff game since 2008. That core lost last year in the first round. They don't know how to win. Something finally happened at halftime where they finally woke up and said, we're in the playoffs.
No, you know what? You know what happened?
What?
This will go down in history. The historic third quarter deluge, right? I think Noah was somewhere in Michigan building an ark, okay? It was a deluge in Detroit. It was flooding. And I think what will go down in history more than anything else, if you seem to be cursed, if you're in the middle of a bad losing streak, 11 straight home playoff losses, 11 straight. The best thing that can happen, invite the Orlando Magic to town.
Yeah, you're right. Look, I texted you earlier today. So if you look at, all right, they played 2 games, 8 quarters of basketball. Detroit has played championship basketball for 1 quarter. The problem was it was the most important quarter so far in the series. Outside of that, they didn't play well. By the fourth, it's like it was over anyway. But I'll just say this. First half, 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, it's 37-37. Halftime, 46-46. And you're right. It's 46-46. You got up, you went back, and you're like, it's 75-51. was a
Hey,
disaster today.
when it was 46-46, I mean, all the pundits on TV, Charles Barkley and Shaq and all of them were going, wow, this is a low scoring game. The pace of this game is slow. It's ugly. It's terrible. And like, well, who do you feel bad? And they're coming out like, Shaq's going, well, I feel bad for the Magic, or Charles like, well, I feel bad for the bit. They're feeling bad for everybody. I felt bad for the viewing audience. Nobody said that. I mean, come on, 46-46. I thought I was watching a high school game.
Yeah, I thought it was like Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton Pistons were playing from 20 years ago. And what's funny? It's backwards also, because when you see Philly and Boston came out game one and blew them out of the water. Then adjustments were made, and Philly stole game two. This one makes Magic steal game one and then get blown out in the second half. It makes no sense whatsoever. But hey, I'm going to do this. Wipe my hands clean. Still 1-1.
Well, I tell you what it says. There's an age-old saying, and I think I've said this to you before. We might have discussed it on your show before. But there's an age-old saying in coaching. When you dig a deep hole, because, basketball's a game of runs. We all know that, right? Everybody has runs. But you can never, that's why they say, well, when do you call timeout when a run is going on? I never like to let a team go on a 10-0 run. I want to call timeout before it gets to 10-0. If it's 8-0, 9-0, maybe even 7-0, I'm thinking about taking a timeout, right? I don't like to see it get to 10-0 because that run can become a flood. It can open the floodgates, right? Even if it gets to 10-0 and you call timeout might not solve the problem. The age-old thing is about this. Why you call those timeouts? Why do you call those timeouts? Trying to stop those runs. Because it's one thing to dig a big hole and come back. It's another thing to dig a big hole, come back and win, right? It takes so much energy, Mark, to dig a deep hole in the second half and come back from it. A lot of times you can say, yeah, but it happens at halftime. You can be down big at the half and come back. And I say that's true. I agree with that. But the Magic dug themselves a hole. They were in it at halftime. Yeah. The third quarter blowout, they dug such a deep hole. They gave Detroit so much confidence. And Magic players did start hanging their heads. Oh my God, what's happening? We're getting blown out here. You can feel it. You can see it. And it's one thing to come back from that deficit in the fourth quarter. It's another thing to come back and win.
You're absolutely right. And it's funny because in game one, the Magic were up 10 in the third quarter, and the Pistons went on a 10-0 run, tied it, timeout Mosley. And then the Magic go on a 14-3 run, and they went start to finish game one, did not trail. They led the whole, it's never happened before in the modern era where an 8th seed did that in a basketball game, and they did it. Dude, it's so bad. Look, if they would have lost, here's the thing. If the Pistons win game two, it's 3-5-point win, right? It's a close game. Then you're like, okay, you're fine. But that was so demoralizing for the Magic that now there's this like, is Detroit going to kill us over the next 3 games?
I agree. I agree completely. They made a statement in the third quarter last night. One of the other things that I looked at that I was thinking about as the loss was happening in the second half is how poorly the Magic showed up in this game. Both teams had a horrendous first half, not just the Magic, the Pistons. It was an ugly basketball game. We joked about 46-46, but it was an ugly basketball game in the first half. It was sloppy. There was poor shooting by both teams. And one of the big things statistically that I saw bear out as the game went on, in game one, when the Magic, like you said, it's like a horse race, right? It's like being at the Kentucky Derby. The Magic in game one led pillar to post, right? Pillar to post. They led the entire race. They jumped out in the lead. They stayed. I think once or twice the Pistons tied the game, but the Pistons never took the lead in game one. Now, in game two, the big difference between game 1 and 2 was not that the Magic didn't lead the entire game. Why did the Magic lead the entire game in game 1? All 5 starters showed up. All 5 starters in game 1, Mark, scored in double figures. Last night in game 2, Banchero had 18. It was an average game for him. In game 1, I told you this, Banchero played like a superstar.
He did.
In game 1, Paolo Banchero took every shot he had an opportunity to take, right? And a lot of people talked about Banchero. Well, he didn't show up like that against Philly late in the season on the road in the play-in tournament, right? He didn't show up like that because he was hesitant to take open shots. In game 1 in Detroit, Banchero shot everything he got a look at, right? So Banchero has an average game last night. He didn't show up. Wagner had an average game. He had 12 points. And remember, in game 1, Wagner took over the fourth quarter. I mean, he was Mr. Fourth quarter. Well, again, last night, he kind of took over the fourth quarter, but too little, too late. Wendell Carter Jr., who had double figures in game 1, played 24 minutes last night, scored 3 points. That hurt. And then when you look at the backcourt, Bane and Suggs had a good game. I thought Suggs played well in game 1 and in game 2. Suggs had 19 last night, but Desmond Bane, who again was brought in, veteran leadership, he's played more playoff games than anybody else on the Magic roster. And Bane comes in last night, 12 points in 34 minutes. Then one last point, Mark.
Yeah.
The bench. So the starters obviously didn't play their best. All 5 didn't score in double figures. Banchero had an average game. Bane had a sub-average game, right? So how did the bench fare? Let's go down the bench. Mo Wagner, 0. Kane, 2. Tristan Da Silva, who I really like, 3 points in 17 minutes.
No.
Penda, 0. Batadze, 21 minutes, 3 points. Carter off the bench, 0. Anthony Black off the bench, 1 for 6 shooting, 5 points. And Richardson gave him 6 points in 3 minutes. Their bench was abysmal. They had no firepower from their bench, no get up and go, no pick up from their bench. All 5 starters didn't play as expected. That's how you get blown out.
You're absolutely right. Also, giving up baskets on every possession. That didn't help either. Okay. Philip Rostenreich, who you know as well, of Orlando Magic Daily, he made a great point to me on Monday where he's like, look, you look at game 1, someone you just brought up, Wendell Carter Jr., shut down Jalen Durant. Shut him down. We only scored 4 or 5 points. I'm not kidding. Got nothing going. You saw in that third quarter, and it kind of maybe started a little in the second quarter, they finally started feeding him the ball down low, and he started getting easy buckets. And that felt like that started to open things up for Detroit. And once he's an all-star, right? He's a 20 and 10 a night guy. And once he started going, other things open up. My thing with Detroit is they don't have a lot of firepower on offense. It's, okay, Cade Cunningham is an MVP candidate. He is legit. You saw it last night. Durant can't shoot from the outside. He's limited. Tobias Harris, who's 35, it feels like. What's like, who else?
Look, you make a perfect point there. I want to follow up on with you, right? In game 1, Cade Cunningham was unstoppable. He had, 39 in game 1? He put on a show, but it wasn't enough for the Detroit Pistons to beat the Orlando Magic. Cunningham was amazing. In game 2, Cunningham is still their leading scorer. He has 27 points. But in game 2, now, as you said, they start getting the ball inside to Durant. They had a good game from Harris, Tobias Harris, 16 points last night. Their bench, they get 10 points from Stewart off the bench last night. They had the score, all 5 starters. Again, it was only a 15-point loss last night in the end. And as you made the great point, I believe the only quarter that the Pistons won last night was the third quarter. The Magic won 3 out of 4 quarters, but they lost the third quarter so bad they couldn't win the game. So for 3 quarters of the game, they were the better team. It was only for one 12-minute period that the Pistons really went to work, played like the number 1 seed should play, and dominated the 8th seed. The other 3 quarters, again, the Pistons allowed the 8th seed to compete with them for 36 minutes of the 48 minutes. The 112-minute spurt did it. And if you look at the difference, so it's only a 15-point game. Look at the difference in the two games. The Pistons in game 2, all 5 starters, double figures. All 5 starters do their job. They all play their role, do their job. The Magic in game 2, only 4 starters in double figures, and 2 of those starters score less in game 2 than they did in game 1. It was offensive firepower that was the difference in the game for the Magic from game 1 to game 2. In game 1, the Magic put up numbers. They scored points. It looked like the Pistons couldn't stop the Magic from scoring in game 1. We joke about it all the time, but yeah. I wanted to say when they tipped off last night and the Magic are still scoring. But again, the first half was ugly offensively by both teams. Ugly offensively by both teams. The second half, even worse. Think about it, 46 and 46. If they'd have played just as bad in the second half offensively, they still would have scored 92 points. The Magic scored 83. So as ugly as they were offensively in the first half, their offensive woes continued in the second half, mostly that abysmal third quarter.
We're here with Billy Mims recapping Pistons Magic. I'm going to say this right now. This is my bulletin board material. I don't care. The Magic, if they want to win this series, have any chance at one of the biggest upsets ever, they have to win games 3 and 4. They're not winning another game in Detroit. They have 3 games possibly in Orlando. They're a great home team. You've seen them play multiple times this year at home. And a playoff crowd at the Kia Center is phenomenal. They have to win these 2 games, Saturday and next Monday. If they split with Detroit, Detroit's winning this series. I'm sorry.
Well, you make a great point. And you and I, remember this, you and I were there late in the season for a matchup with the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
We went over to watch them play Detroit, and we saw how that game kind of unfolded, how the matchup between the Pistons and the Magic would look if it became a playoff matchup, which it did.
I'm happy we went. I mean, I don't know why my gut was telling me. I was like, look, we have to. I remember like calling you, like, we have to go see Detroit play. We have to see how Orlando matches up against him, right? Against that team, Cade Cunningham, all of them. I'm happy we went. They beat up the Magic in that basketball game we saw. They beat them up physically. And what's funny is, okay, they lose that game. I'm on the air trashing the Magic because they look terrible in that game. Then remember, after that, the Magic went on a 7-game winning streak, and the Pistons went on like a 5-game losing streak. So you never know. Don't ever ask me for gambling suggestions, okay?
But remember, the Pistons down the stretch played a lot of games without Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
And, when he had the collapsed lung, and that's a really, really tough thing to come back from.
And
so
he has.
I give him credit. He doesn't look like he was injured at all, does he? I mean, in game 1, his 39 points, he was unstoppable, and he looked like a guy that, like you said, an MVP candidate in game 1.
When we saw him courtside, he is big. He's 6'8". He's got a body on him where maybe he's not as big as LeBron weight-wise, but he is big. And I told this to my buddy Tim, who's a big basketball fan as well, where it's like, I texted him this morning where I'm like, they're going to get better players around him. Like moving forward, I think players are going to want to play with Cade Cunningham, better scoring younger players. Like they're going to, because he's the type of guy you can win with. If you get like they're 1 seed now, and I think Detroit could get better as a roster with some of their guys. Now, can they do it? That's up for their front office. But again, I'm not kidding, Coach. Magic got to win games 3 and 4, or this thing's over. They've got to get up 3-1 on them.
I think it'd be very difficult to go back and win again in Detroit, especially when you talk about winning game 5, or even more importantly, having to win game 7. I don't think they can win a game 7 in Detroit. Potentially they could win a game 5, but I agree with you. It's about, I mean, the Pistons were at home last night. They were 6 for 26 from 3. 6 for 26. The Pistons aren't going to win this game by beating the Magic from the perimeter, okay? They're going to beat the Magic in defensive tenacity, steals, which create transition buckets, easy, quick scores, layups at the rim, dunks, and inside play, whether it's the guards penetrating to the bucket or whether it's the bigs inside Duran getting some looks inside, Tobias Harris scoring at the basket. I thought as well, Duncan Robinson gave him a lift last night. Duncan Robinson was 3 for 9 from 3 last night, but his threes were clutch threes. They were big threes for Detroit last night. And if you notice, I don't know if you noticed, I mean, as a coach, I don't watch the game always as a fan. I watch it as a coach. I watch things, all the little things happening, going into timeouts, coming out of timeouts. There was a great timeout when they were coming out of the timeout. They haven't fully gone out on the court yet. Duncan gathered them all around him. And again, Duncan Robinson is the most experienced player on that Pistons team. He's played, I think, in like 74 NBA playoff games.
Because the Heat. He's on those
Heat.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that experience is really key for the Pistons right now. And I like the fact that they started Duncan Robinson, that they're playing him, he played 32 minutes last night. He goes 3 for 8. He was 3 for 8 from 3 last night. As a team, they were 6 for 26, and he makes 3 of their 6. But in that one moment, he gathered all those young bucks. And there's no doubt Cade Cunningham is the leader of that team. Cade is the quarterback, the young quarterback leader of that team, the guy they all look to. But in that one timeout, Duncan Robinson called them all over, put his arms around a couple of them, said, hey, guys, we got to get this. This is for us now. This is a time where we can get this. We can make this happen, right? And I felt like in that timeout that Duncan Robinson was calming those young guys down and making that situation a real, in that end of the third quarter and fourth quarter, Duncan Robinson was the guy they were looking to believe in their ability to finish off the Heat, the Orlando Magic.
Okay, your coaching standpoint, I will give one more praise to the Pistons, then I'm moving on from giving them praise. There were times their defense was championship level last night where we all know this, like NBA level, it's all about sitting at the 3-point line, get them all around, make the extra pass. You always see that. One more extra pass, guys in the corner for 3. And the Magic were running the plays very beautifully. They were. And Detroit was ready. Their guys were ready to defend, taking away any angle you'd have at the basket, they took away. It's like you're a bully and you see a little kid and he's riding that bike and you take the bike away from him. No, this is my bike now. That's what Detroit did last night. They took it away. That third quarter was such a butt kicking. I can't you know what it is? Okay, I'll put it this way. Usually, as you know, I'll do like a 60-second recap video after every game. You see me post them all the time. I made it in the third quarter. I said, this game's over. And you know what I said? I'm breaking out it's not looking good. And you're the first person I sent it to. Okay. No one needs to know the stats. And no, it's over. It's over. Just burn the tape, move on. So
it was one of the shortest videos you've ever sent me. I think it was only 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was one question, one quick answer, but yet it was beautifully done, Mark. That was enough said. That was that's it. Enough said.
Should I try to play it for you off the I'm gonna see if I can do this right. Because it's
it's a classic, yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. All right. Okay, wait, here it is. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's literally all you need to know.
And I loved your warning too,
I have to do the warning.
Yeah, the warning up beforehand. That was such a classic.
It reminds me like you would like you don't really get this on TV as much. It'd be like before you're like watching The Shield on FX, some like gritty cop show. And then it was viewer discretion is advised. So I would say, yeah, because that was so awful to watch. You should have some type of advisory before watching that basketball game. Oh my God. Again. Game 3. Here's what's gonna happen. Game 3 is Saturday, 1:00 with the tip. Now, this happened 2 years ago.
You covering Saturday?
No. So here's what's happening. So 2 years ago, this happened to me. The Puerto Rican Day Parade is also going on at that time downtown. So good luck to anyone trying to find parking to go to the game. Okay? That happened to me. I went to that game 2 years. So I'm driving like how we always park at the same parking garage, right? On South Street.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Oh, no. I had to I was circling around because you know what it is? Because the Puerto Rican Day Parade, which is a great parade, it is. They're probably thinking, yeah, we'll do it a Saturday in April. The Magic suck. They're not going to be in the playoffs. We'll be free. You know what I mean? There's supposed to be, I think there was supposed to be some country concert on Saturday. Same thing. Some country concert supposed to be at the Kia Center. Oh, no. You got to move that to Sunday, buddy. Because the Magic are in town for their own arena. I like that. Hey, I like that. That's absolutely right. Hey, you built that stadium to be an NBA stadium. You tell Ariana Grande she can have her concert 3 days from now. Oh,
so they actually moved the concert from Saturday to Sunday because of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, but parking.
That's it.
All right, so I have to host. Here's what happens. It's going to be my 7th time. I'm going to be hosting the Crohn's and Colitis Walk at City Promenade in Kissimmee, right by Disney World. So I got to be there at 9 a.m. Here's the thing. I'll probably get out of there about 11:30. Tip-off's at 1:00. But I'm like, there's no way. Do you know if you're in Kissimmee by Disney World, and if you have to take 4 or some of those back roads to get to downtown, that takes an hour. Okay. And there'll be no parking. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Don't tell Jamal Mosley I can't make it. No way I'll get it. That's the joke. Takes us from where you live. Takes you what, 45 minutes? Right.
You know what you'd be better off doing?
What?
Drive over there at breakfast before the parade starts, park in your favorite parking place, and Uber to Kissimmee.
Oh my God.
Well, and then you Uber to Kissimmee, you host the Crohn's Colitis Walk, right? Yeah. And then Uber back, have them drop you off at the Kia Center.
How much is that Uber ride going to cost me? $100 each way? It is far. So that's why the joke is, oh, Disney World's in Orlando. No, it's in Kissimmee. It's away from downtown. It's over here. It is. So I don't know.
And it's the hardest place to get to because you have to do I-4. And for anybody that's never been to Orlando, if people are listening to this around the country, but have not brought their kids to Disney and Universal, I-4, it might just be the worst stretch of highway in America. I would not, it's the one reason I would decline to live or work in Orlando is if you have to live or work where part of your commute is going to be I-4 into or out of downtown Orlando, no way, not doing it.
You could tell after us talking about 25 minutes of the Magic butt kicking, we can't do it anymore. Now we're talking traffic patterns.
Hey, but you know what's crazy, right? I know we were really focused, obviously, because we're in Florida and we're local to Orlando, and we want to see the Orlando Magic win. You know,
I like that.
We want to play the song, Orlando Magic.
I'll play that
Orlando
song.
Magic.
Oh man!
But the playoffs right now are really interesting.
They're fantastic.
The Magic made it interesting in Game 1. I mean, the Hawks have made their series interesting. The Lakers are up 2-0 without Luka Doncic. Luka's not playing, and they're 2-0 up on the Houston Rockets. Is there any chance at all that Houston goes back and sweeps 2 and can win Game 5 in LA? Who knows? It might be okay. And then the Spurs, look at the Spurs. How long is Wemby going to be out? Wemby goes down, hard fall, concussion. concussion protocol probably says he misses the next game. But how long do they hold out their young MVP candidate, MVP prospect, superstar, Wemby, 7'2" point guard? So and again, let's go one more.
Just say it. Go.
The Nick Nurse and the Sixers, they got a big win. So they now all of a sudden, whoa, they're back in the picture. They got a win on the road. How about the Minnesota Timberwolves? Timberwolves get a win against Denver in Denver. Now the Nuggets, it's a 1-1 series, and it's a great one. You got Jokic versus Ant-Man, two of the best players on the planet right now. Nikola Jokic, multi NBA MVP winner. Anthony Edwards, the young, fun-loving, smiling face of the NBA right now, head-to-head. And yet the funny thing was, in game one that the Nuggets won, how about that shot at halftime from the backcourt on the buzzer to tie the game at the half when it was like a 64-61 game? You're talking about a deluge, a flood. It was an offensive flood in game one in Denver, right? And Jamal Murray drills a shot on the buzzer, couple of dribbles from the backcourt, drills it to tie the game 64-all. Now, let's compare that to last night's Orlando Magic Detroit Pistons game. There is some comparison there, isn't it? In the first half of game one in Denver, it was 6-4 to 6-4. Last night in game two in Detroit, it was 4-6 to 4-6. A little bit of a comparison there, right?
Let me just say something to you. The Joker better win. Okay? You can't look, I'm gonna go here. This guy can't win like 7 MVPs and then only get to 1 finals. I don't care. Like,
come on. At the end of the day, it's you don't get the finals because you have the best player in the game. You get the finals because you're the best team at that point in time. So a lot of what it has, and that's where I go back. Like last year, everyone, well, Shea's the MVP. There's the argument again. Why is he the MVP? He didn't lead he only led the NBA in one category, scoring. One category, right?
Here we go.
But why is he the MVP? Because he's on the best team in the NBA. Right now, you've got a guy, Nikola Jokic, who was top 10 in the league in scoring, led the league in assists, led the league in rebounds. He's the first player in NBA history to lead the league in both rebounds and assists in a single season.
Okay. Joker is going to win the MVP because, and this is what I'm saying, Joker and Wembanyama, if those franchises didn't have those two players, they're lottery teams. I'm sorry.
Then again, doesn't that make you the most valuable? You are the best player in the league, the most valuable player to your team. Because if you are, like you said, if Nikola Jokic isn't playing for the Denver Nuggets, they are not seated in the top half of the league, period. No. They're not a home court team in the playoffs without Nikola Jokic. So to me, you're right. And Wemby and his, even though Jamal Murray and Stephon Castle are also playing big time basketball, Jamal Murray now he averaged 25 and a half points a game this year. And I believe that's his highest points per game in his career. So him playing alongside Nikola Jokic makes Jamal Murray a better player. How about last night, OKC, Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren put on a show late in the game last night. He took over the basketball game and at one point was just on a scoring run. The run was all Chet Holmgren. But I again say he's a much better player playing alongside Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I agree. All right, let's end with this. And I appreciate coming on. And then I got to get ready for NFL draft coverage because it's a great time of year. All right, I don't care if the Gator fans hear this. I am going to say this from by my heart. Billy Donovan is a terrible NBA coach. He always has been a terrible NBA coach. And finally, my prayers were answered from the basketball gods that he decided to leave the Bulls. Thank God that happened. He should have left. See, he should have left when the front office was let go. But then the Reinsdorf family, because they're terrible, they came out and said, well, the next GM at front office has to work with Billy Donovan because Billy Donovan's going to be our coach. Then they've been going through this search for the new front office. And then Donovan decided, wait a minute, I don't want to be part of a rebuild. I don't want to, and he's like, I'm out of here. So I was debating this with my dad. It's like, why didn't you just go take the UNC job if you knew you were going to lose? But maybe he wants to stay in the NBA. The whole thing is a disaster. The whole thing. He was there 6 years, 1 playoff appearance. He's been coaching the NBA for 10 years.
Well,
10 years.
You know what I said? I said this a while ago, right? Why did they ever get rid of Tom Thibodeau?
Why did the Knicks get rid of Tom Thibodeau?
Come on. There's a guy who's been successful in both locations, done a great job for the Bulls, did a great job for the Knicks, and yet the Knicks don't like him. And I think similarly, maybe it's what did Billy Donovan in to an extent, not with the same level of success, Mark. But I think Tom Thibodeau, Billy Donovan, they're old school, old style coaches. And in the NBA, look who's doing great jobs now. The young Bucks, for the most part, are doing great jobs. And I think it's because they're better man managers. There may not be the same great X's and O's. Billy Donovan is a great basketball coach when it comes to X's and O's. But it's like, it's hard to coach in the NBA like a college coach.
I agree.
You have to be a chairman of the board in the NBA, not a coach that's shouting and ranting in the players' faces. And not that Donovan does that, okay? But he's more of a strict, I'm the coach, you play for me. I think the coaches that succeed in the NBA try to take a step back from the superstars of their team and allow their superstars to be the face of the team. And they take a step back and they talk not about their players playing for them, but about their players playing with them. And I think that's the difference.
Okay, and that's a great point. What's interesting with Donovan then is, all right, he is literally in the Hall of Fame for being a college basketball coach.
No doubt.
Winning with the Gators. He's already in. Okay, he's been out of college basketball for 10 years. Does he even
does he go back?
If he goes back to college, does he even understand the landscape anymore?
Well, I would say yes. And I would say he's got a great advantage now of going back to college. He becomes like Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino left college to coach professional basketball in the European League, the Euro League. He coached one of the best teams in the Greek League that was also a Euro League team, a Greek Basketball League champion, a Euro League contender for a championship. And he now knows what it's all about, paying players big money. So what's the NCAA right now? Paying players big money. There's a Euro League player from England who played for Milano in Italy this year, making $200,000 a season, playing for a Euro League team in the top level of basketball in Italy. Quinn Ellis, he just signed to go play college basketball, right? Duke was in the hunt, but Rick Pitino got him. And how much are they paying him? He was making $200,000 a year in the Euro League for the top team in Italy, Milano. St. John's are paying him to play next year for St. John's $4.8 million. Do you realize, Mark, he's 23 years old, and that's more money than he could make as an NBA rookie for anybody. That's above the NBA rookie take. He couldn't make that money in the NBA next year, but he's going to make it at St. John's. So what does Billy Donovan talk about, understanding the landscape? Yes. Go back to college, coach all young kids, no veteran players, coach all kids between 18 and 23 years of age who will look up to you, respect you, but you're going to pay them like an NBA superstar.
I think he wants to stay in the NBA. We'll see.
Hey, if the money's right, Mike Malone left the NBA and he took the North Carolina job. And you know what? North Carolina are probably paying Mike Malone more than he made at Denver.
He's getting like 10 million. Like it is insane how much money he's getting. I'm not, but that's okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you go. Appreciate you coming on. Come on, let's come on Monday. We'll recap everything. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. Maybe the Magic can show up. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Thank you, Mark. Go NBA basketball.